Hello dear Cancerians and welcome to your 2021 annual horoscope. 2021 starts with a very different, lighter and fresh energy, which we have already had a little taste of in December. So let's see what this year brings for you on a more personal level. Both Saturn and Jupiter are already in Aquarius as we begin the year. So let's first discuss Saturn. Saturn is a karmic planet, a planet that brings limitations, obstacles, challenges, but ultimately this is the teacher. It's an old teacher who wants to bring more structure into the area of life that it is transiting, more consistency. Perhaps if there are some matters connected to the 8th house, so with anything to do with joint resources, finances, joint finances, investments, intimacy. If there were any problems that you pushed to the side in the last years, now Saturn will want you to deal with these issues and resolve them. It's not a good time for taking any loans while Saturn stays in this house, unless you are really well prepared and ready to repay them consistently, because consistency is very important with Saturn here. Also, there could be some challenges in your intimate life. Perhaps some issues will come back from the past that you will have to deal with and hopefully resolve them so that your intimate life can be a better experience. Now, the good thing about this whole Saturn transit in your 8th house in 2021 is that Jupiter will also be here. And Jupiter is the opposite energy to Saturn's. And Jupiter brings luck, abundance, optimism, and opportunities. So with Jupiter here, you can get new opportunities for some investments. There could be some new opportunities for intimate life. So maybe there could be a new intimate relationship coming into your life. This is also a good year to get into any business partnerships, a serious one, a consistent one, because with Jupiter here, you will gain financially if you get into any sort of relationship where you, as well as the other person, pull out your resources and then create a joint venture. Now, the 8th house is also the house of transformation. So here you might go through some transformation, some inner transformation, change something, your habits, the way of thinking might change. You might see and perceive life differently after Jupiter leaves this area of your life at the end of the year. However, Jupiter will not stay here all the time. Between May and July, Jupiter will move into your 9th house of foreign travel, foreign people, life direction, higher education. Now, with Jupiter in your 9th house, you might get an opportunity for a faraway travel between May and July. You might expand your horizons in some way. You might expand your connections. So you might meet people or do some businesses with people from different cultures or countries to yours. Or there could be some opportunities also for higher education, so some studies. Now, the next important events, and this is also at the very beginning of the year, this is Mars changing sign and moving into Taurus. So Mars stayed in Aries since June 2020. So Mars came into Aries at the end of June 2020 and it stayed until 6th, 7th of January 2021. And the reason for that is because it went retrograde in September and November. Usually Mars stays in a sign 6 weeks, so it's a very, very long transit that we had in Aries, and it brought a lot of anger as well in between when it went retrograde, perhaps lack of drive or motivation in some of us. Now with Mars moving into your 11th house of friendships and groups you belong to, you will be very busy socializing with others. You will have drive, motivation and courage to join some new groups, to expand your friendships, to meet new people, to meet people who share similar interests to yours, who are like-minded. So it will be January will be busy for you in terms of socializing, and this could be also done online if it's not possible face-to-face due to restrictions that there could be. Now, Mercury will go retrograde this year 3 times, and this is something normal. It happens every year, and this year it will go retrograde in the air signs only. So the first retrograde will be on the 30th of January and it will last throughout February, and it will be in your 8th house where both Saturn and Jupiter will be present. So as you can see, there is a lot of emphasis on the 8th house matters as we begin the year, especially with this Mercury going retrograde as well. You will be doing some reevaluations and rethinking about your financial situation, your joint resources, your investment, mortgages, your sex life, your inner life as well. And this is actually quite beneficial that Mercury is going retrograde here while we've got these important planets as well at the same time in the 8th house, because this gives us an opportunity to do some really deep re-evaluation. So you will be doing some really deep diving in thinking and rethinking during Mercury retrograde, and hopefully you come up with some new ideas as well for yourself. Now, the second Mercury retrograde will be on the 29th of May, and it will last throughout June. And this is in the 12th house. So here we've got the 12th house, and you might also be doing some really deep inner thinking about yourself, about your life, some re-evaluations of your life of the last year or so. What have you done in your life in the last 12 months that you could have done better? What experiences have you taken with you, and would you like to carry over? What have you learned? What have you experienced? And what would you change? What would you do differently? So this kind of questions would come up into your mind during the time that Mercury goes retrograde in June. And the last Mercury retrograde will be in the sign of Libra on the 27th of September, and it will last throughout October. And this is in your 4th house. And the 4th house is connected to family matters, domestic life. So you will be doing some re-evaluations of your home, of your roots, where you come from, where is it that you belong. And also you could be doing some reevaluations of where is it that you want to live, whether you're happy where you are, maybe something needs to change. And now let's move on to solar eclipses. We've got 4 this year, so it's very well balanced, I would say, because last year in 2020 we had 6, and it was crazy with other planetary alignments, and this year we've got 4, so it's something normal. And the first lunar eclipse will be in the sign of Sagittarius on May 26th, and it will be in your 6th house. So a lunar eclipse is a very intense full moon, and it's a time of endings, something coming to an end, something coming to completion. This is one way of looking at the lunar eclipse. So something to do with your work. Some projects coming to an end. You could be moving to another job, finishing this job, perhaps changing jobs in May. You could be also something connected to your diet and health and well-being. So some endings. Or on the other hand, if you began something in December 2020, because this is when we had a solar eclipse in Sagittarius on 14th of December. Now during this lunar eclipse, you could see some results, some outcomes of whatever you started around that time. The second lunar eclipse will be in Taurus on November 19th in your 11th house. So with this lunar eclipse, this is the first lunar eclipse of this series between Taurus and Scorpio, and they will last until 2023. So these are quite interesting eclipses, because they will activate your area of friendships and also joy and creativity. And perhaps you'll be trying to find some balance between where is it that you belong in terms of your friendship circle, and what is it that you want for yourself, what gives you pleasure, what gives you joy. So that's between 2021 and 2023, the influence of the eclipses. So I'm kind of moving away a bit far. However, this specific lunar eclipse will be in your 11th house. So here again, endings connected to friends. You could be letting go of a friendship. You could be letting go of a group you belong to. Also, some goals that you were working on could be coming to completion as well. Now, solar eclipse, the first one is in the sign of Gemini on June the 10th in your 12th house. So earlier, when I was talking about Mercury retrograde, you had a Mercury retrograde going here in June as well. And perhaps you did some reevaluations of your life, of your goals. Where is it that you're going? What is it that you have achieved in your life in the last year or so? So now with this solar eclipse in this area of your life, this could be a time when you begin working behind the scene on some project. This could be a time when you connect to spirituality on a more deeper level. You could be become interested in crystals, dreams, interpretation, or astrology. Now, the second solar eclipse will be in the sign of Sagittarius on December the 4th, and this will be in the 6th house. You had a lunar eclipse here on the 26th of May, and I said that there could be some endings during this time connected to your work, well-being, or health. Now, whatever you will end on May 26th lunar eclipse, you will create space for some new energies to come into your life on December the 4th. So that's why it's so important to sometimes close some chapters in our lives, and don't be afraid to end some things, because in this way we create space for new opportunities to come into our life and new energies. We attract new energies. And this solar eclipse, it will be a time of new beginnings connected to your work life. So you could be starting a new work in December, And this could be even before December, since a solar eclipse can be activated even 6 weeks in advance. And this could be something to do with your health, maybe new exercise regime, something to do with your well-being as well. The last event of the year is Venus going retrograde, and it's in the sign of Capricorn on December 19th until January the 1st. And we are quite lucky this year because Venus will go retrograde at the very end of the year, so it won't bother us throughout the year. And it's only a couple of weeks, so it's very quick. And Venus, the planet that rules love, relationship and finances, could bring some challenges in your love life, in your relationships and your finances. And this actually retrograde is in your 7th house. So it will bring some perhaps misunderstandings, or something could come back from the past concerning your love life, your relationships. Also, this could be an ex-lover coming back into your life. And with this in mind, I would like to thank you very much. I wish you a wonderful 2021. I hope it will be a year of new beginnings and new opportunities coming your way. And I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye. Thank you.